I would like to call up Patrick Cruz for our land acknowledgement.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Cruz. I was asked to do the land acknowledgement, and one of the things I was struggling with was how to do a proper one, because you see these things happen at meetings and conferences, and it seems like it becomes very procedural, and the meaning behind it is often lost. And at the same time, I was thinking about places like Tsik'umuping, one of the mountains that's over here, and also other mountains along where surrounding Los Alamos, and how important these places are for the pueblos down in the valley. And at the same time, also the intersection with the fact that right now, this morning, they're dancing at Okeawinge, yellow corn dance. They're dancing right now. And how when they do these dances are prayers for everyone that lives within this landscape. And these prayers basically are the sound of singing and performance, of stomping, of rattles, of bells, of drums, and how these originate at a community and echo outwards to all the different points on the landscape, especially places like Tsik'umuping, which is one of the points over here, often referred to as Chicoma or something like that. And it made me think about how Okeawinge, for instance, does this every year. There's dances throughout the year. And in these dances, they oftentimes refer to places just like up here, specific places on this landscape that surrounds Los Alamos. And it's not just there at Okeawinge. It is all the other 6 Tewa villages that do the same thing. And in fact, you can extend it to all the pueblos, but referring here specifically to the Tewa that are just down the valley from here, and how these prayers are referencing places like in Los Alamos, places that are mountain peaks that surround this town. And the intersection between ancestral and current peoples, and between mountain peaks and the pueblos down in the valley. It's a powerful one, and it's one that makes me think about how long have these dances, mentions of places like this, how far back do they go? Perhaps a millennia? Every single year, consistently doing these things. And that's powerful. The connection between down at the pueblos and places like up here, the connection and the continuity, it's a powerful thing to think about how long this has been happening and going on. And to me, that's what I think about when I think of like land acknowledgement. It's not just about an ancestral place, but it's a place that's important for the people of today and people that live in communities just off the hill. And so just to recognize that all of these places around here are thought of in connection to the people down below in the valley. So that's what I wanted to mention. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Welcome. My name is Elisa Enriquez. Yo soy Elisa Enriquez. I'm a worship associate here at the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time with us, we'd love to get to know you. Please sign the guest sign-in book in the foyer, or if you're online, the online book. You can also speak to the greeter, our greeter, Mike McNaughton, or Rebecca Howard. She's the chairperson for the membership committee, or our Reverend Tina DeYoe, for more information about the church. To learn more about spiritual enrichment programs for all ages, please feel free to talk with Terra Louise, our Director of Lifespan Spiritual Enrichment. Our nursery coordinator, Sarah Hamoud, can watch kids who are 0 through 3 years old, and she's out there in the nursery. After time for all ages, kids can go out with Elizabeth Portillos, our spiritual enrichment teacher and assistant, to go to their World Blessings class. We have our Candles of Community area over here and in the back. You're invited to come up during the first hymn or now or anytime before the prayer time to light a candle. And if you'd also like to, you're welcome to write your joy or sorrow in the book. Please go ahead and silence your cell phones this morning as we begin our worship service together. And we'll go ahead and start with announcements. The church announcements can be read weekly through your email if you'd like to sign up. It can also be found on the website, our monthly printed flyers on the back of the bulletin, and on Facebook and Instagram pages. Today, we're highlighting a few announcements. Please stay after for the annual congregational meeting. We're going to be voting on important items, so please grab your lunch in the fellowship hall and come back into the sanctuary. If you're able to stay after the meeting, please meet with Terra to help organize the classrooms in preparation for the community engagement fair that's happening next week, next Saturday. This Wednesday, May 7th, we have 3 events. Women's group at 10 a.m., UU SAC lunch at 12:30, and 3 p.m. we'll have tea time with Reverend Tina, Terra, and the Caring Committee. Everyone is invited to join. Friday, May 9th, we will have all ages karaoke, starting with a potluck at 5:30. Singing starts at 6:30. It's a fun time. This Saturday, May 10th, as I mentioned, 10 to 2 will be the community engagement fair and plant swap here at the church. Still could use folks to host activities, crafts, bring food to share, and more. Sign up to help using the QR code on the screen. I just wanted to make sure the screen was had what I was saying. And then after the fair, we are getting ready for summer camp with parent orientation at 3 p.m. That's so that next Saturday at 3, there's going to be orientation for summer camp, and the summer camp is June 2nd through 6th. And you can sign up. There's a council orientation at 4. Talk to Terra, Louise, if you'd like more information about being a counselor, which would include teens. Today is the last day to sign up for the UU Women's Retreat on May 17th. Please talk to Terra Hite to register. I'd like to invite everyone to stand up if you wish and greet your neighbor now by introducing yourself. And I know that colds are out there in COVID, and maybe you don't have to shake hands unless you want to. You can also wave. I'll call us back with a chime. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Call us back? Okay.
Is it one time?
Yeah, one time. Where's Beth? I need Beth.
Okay, she's right
Oh, okay, yeah. I need to grab her. Good morning. My name is Reverend Tina DeYoe. I use she, her pronouns. And this is our call to worship. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to be our better selves, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion. Our church theme for May, because it's a new month, is imagination. So today we come together as a community, imagining a world in which all of our Indigenous siblings can live in peace and without fear for their lives. We imagine a world where repair and reconciliation work are the norm. We imagine a world where Indigenous lands, resources, sacred sites, human rights, and sovereignty are protected. We imagine a world where decolonization is also the norm. We come together today raising awareness for the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and persons. Also, I will be using the acronym MMIWGP. That's missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and persons. Tomorrow, May 5th, is the National Day of Awareness for MMIWGP. The color associated with this day is red, as you can see many of us wearing. There's also ribbons out in the foyer you can take with you and wear today and tomorrow and educate people. So today we remember the countless lives that have been lost, and we come together to say, no more stolen sisters, no more stolen siblings. We come together to imagine a world without the issue of MMIWGP and commit together to actions that will lead us to this world. So now let us light our chalice, our symbol of faith, our flaming chalice, and Beth will be reading our chalice lighting words, and Evan is gonna come up and light our chalice.
Ready? Okay. We all carry a flame as we go through life, and from all that we take strength, love, peace, and hope, and from all that we suffer, sorrow, recover, and survive, flicker in that flame, a small glow of brilliance among millions. We light this chalice to hold all the flames that have been hidden or snuffed out suddenly far before they should have. In this one flame, we keep all those others alive in memory, in hope, in peace, in strength, and in love.
And let us now stand in body and or spirit and sing our opening hymn, Let This Be a House of Peace. Please remain standing as we together recite our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve life in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus do we covenant with each and with all. You may be seated. We're going to ask Terra Hite to come up and all of our kids to come up for our Time for All Ages story today. So come up to the young worshipers carpet and hear.
Hello. cookies and reading more stories.
Our offering for May is taken up on behalf of the Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women, CSVANW. The mission of the CSVANW is to eradicate violence against Native women and children by championing social change within our communities. We are dedicated to taking responsibility for the future well-being of Native women and children. Through the pillars of support, education, and advocacy, we leverage our collective strengths, power, and unity towards the creation of violence-free communities. Please feel free to use the QR code for the Givelify app on the screen, and thank you for sharing your monetary gifts this morning. May what you give bring you joy and into a deeper relationship with this community. Thank you for your generosity this morning. May your gifts help create violence-free communities for Native women and children.
So during this time of sharing our joys and sorrows, you are invited to come up to our Candles of Community area if you haven't already. You can light a candle, write a joy or a sorrow in the book, and then joys and sorrows that are written will then be read aloud. So during this time, you can remain seated and join in our singing our meditation song, Building Bridges, which we're not going to do in a round. We're going to do 4 times through. The choir's not here, so we can't do it in a round. And I don't know the song very well to help lead us. So we're going to sing Building Bridges together 4 times through. If you want to do it as a round and you know that part, please feel free. So let us now gather in this time of meditation and sharing our joys and sorrows and lighting our candles. Candles have been lit today in celebration of Sophia Enriquez turning 21 on the 2nd. That's Elisa's daughter, yes. Woo! We also had a candle that was lit online that stated, I only had 4 friends here in the area. One moved to Nevada, one is moving to Wisconsin on Friday, and one who followed me down from Alaska 4 years ago and sadly passed away last Saturday after a brief battle with cancer, leaving behind a 12-year-old daughter and a husband of less than a year. This candle is for Serena, who left us too soon and too quickly. Rest in peace. Also, candles have been lit, grateful for the rain. And please comfort Reverend Mar Burr, Ted's dad, in his journey off this planet. May all of these candles lit, all of these prayers, voiced and unvoiced, be lifted up in this space today. So I would like to invite our candles of remembrance and reflection folks to come up for our prayer meditation time. So this is a time of reflection and remembrance for the MMIWGP victims. We'll be lighting candles up here together this morning, and the first candle that will be lit is the candle of sorrow. We light the candle of sorrow. In this moment of solemn reflection, we pay tribute to the countless Indigenous women and siblings who have been taken from us. We honor their memory with a flickering flame, a symbol of our unwavering commitment to keeping their spirit alive. As our hearts ache with the weight of their absence, we recognize that every tear shed is a testament to the love we carry for them. As we gather in prayer, we offer our strength and support to the families and communities who continue to carry this devastating burden. We hold space for their grief and pledge to work towards justice and healing for all our relations.
We light the candle of remembrance. Let us take a moment to honor and cherish the lives of Indigenous women who have left their footprints in the hearts of their communities forever. With a flickering candle, we pay tribute to their existence and the precious memories of their laughter, kindness, and warmth that will always resonate with so many. As we remember them, we acknowledge the deep connection Indigenous people have with this land and the profound legacy of compassion, courage, and persistence they have gifted all of creation. May their spirit and resilience inspire generations to come.
The candle of peace. As the flame flickers, we honor those who have suffered unimaginable loss and pain. In the midst of the ongoing brutalities faced by Indigenous peoples, especially women and girls, we light this candle to symbolize the hope for peace. Our hearts ache for those who have been taken and for those who are left behind to mourn. We pray for comfort and healing, for rest and reflection. May the light of this candle gently illuminate the path towards peace, and may we all be touched by the peace that transcends all understanding. Together, we stand in solidarity, holding space for those who have been deeply impacted.
This is for our candle of hope. Let us ignite this flame, igniting hope for the days of recovery and renewal ahead. The candle serves as a beacon, shining bright with optimism and promise. In these times of adversity, those who have suffered loss may encounter unfamiliar paths, yet we are steadfast beside them with an overflow of support and compassion. As we bask in the glow of the candle's tremendous vitality, let hope prosper and flourish within each and every one of us. We yearn for comfort of times of hardship, revitalization of our spirits, and peace within our souls, trust in the steadfastness of our Mother Earth, and the hope of a brighter future for Indigenous communities.
The candle of love is being lit by Reverend Tina. Together we gather to honor and celebrate the power of love. As we light this candle, we are reminded of the warmth and comfort that love brings to those who are grieving. Love is a light that shines brightly and guides us through even the darkest of times. We give thanks for the opportunity to love deeply and for the precious memories that we carry in our hearts. We pledge to live fully and love fiercely, and to be a beacon of hope and kindness for our Indigenous siblings. Let us honor their loved ones by spreading love wherever we go. Amen, and may it be so.
Hi, my name is Mimi Adams, and I go by she, hers, or they, them, or something like that. I am the chair of the worship team here, and I'm also a Native American of the Louise Nation. I'm from the Bear Clan. My mother was Valerie Adams, and she was the daughter of Joe Joseph and Edith Sam, and my dad is John Fawcett. That is the appropriate way to introduce yourself, except I should do it in my aunt language, but I don't think I can. Maybe Mecha can. You might notice that there's a lot of Northwest Coast stuff around. That is all mine, and the biggest reason we stuck to that nation, to the Northwest Coast style, is because it's red and black, and also it's all I had at home. So I'm going to give you some statistics, then Tina's going to talk some, and then I'll talk some more, and then we'll sing a song. Me and some other Native women will sing a song. Talking about American Indian and Alaskan Native women and girls. These statistics are from the US, but this is also a problem in Canada, but I chose to do just the US this time. We are disproportionately affected by violence, murder, and people and women going missing. Disproportionate is such a mild word for what we're really saying. It's not just disproportionate, it's monumental. 4 out of 5, or 84.3%, of Indigenous women have experienced violence in their lifetimes. 81.6% of Indigenous men have. We have 10 times women the national average of murder rates. 10 times the national average of murder rates. Murder is the third leading cause of death for Indigenous women 18 and over. Murder is the second leading cause of death for Indigenous girls 0 to 17. More than half of Indigenous women have experienced sexual violence. More than half of the Indigenous women have been physically abused by their intimate partners. 48.8% of Indigenous women have been stalked. That includes me. In 2023 alone, in the US, over 5,800 Indigenous women went missing. This is almost certainly an undercount due to statistical issues with Native victims. 74% of those Native women and girls were children. The percentage of Indigenous women who have been murdered, have gone missing, and have experienced physical and sexual violence is higher than any other ethnic or racial group in the US. 88% of the violence to murder, violence and murder of Indigenous women and all Indigenous peoples is cross-cultural and racial. This is extremely unusual, as most murder and violence is committed within cultural or racial groups, but most of ours is across. 40% of sex trafficking victims are Indigenous women, while Indigenous women make up only 2.2% of the female population and 1.1% of the entire population in the US. So 40% of the victims are Native women, compared to our very small population. 50% of women, the Indigenous women and girls cases are solved within a week, while 11.1% are solved after 2 to 3 months, and the rest remain unsolved. This is more than thrice the percentage of unsolved missing women reports than average. Solved cases of MMIWG is more than 10% lower than the national average. Excuse me. Though MMIWG is largely believed to be a reservation problem, which does make up a significant percentage of cases compared to average, most missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls happen in urban areas, not just on the reservation. It's not a reservation problem. It's a societal problem.
There is power bringing voice and awareness to this issue of injustice, to these horrific statistics. There is power in saying no more stolen sisters or siblings, just as there is power in saying Black lives matter or trans lives are sacred. There is power in realizing that our UU value of interdependence links all of us to this issue of injustice. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and persons is not an Indigenous woman's problem. It is an all of us problem because our liberations as humans are tied together. If we ignore the problem, then it continues the genocide of Native peoples and creates a culture of shame. This issue is uncomfortable. It is hard to think about, especially when, in a lot of these cases, there are no answers and there is no justice. I am grateful to be the minister of a community where we can bring our full selves as people, our joys and our sorrows. This is why we are in community with one another. We are here to hold one another in the good and the bad. We are here to bring up hard topics that affect all of us. We are here to say no more to oppression and injustice. We are here together today remembering the countless Indigenous lives that have been lost to colonial settler violence since the inception of this country. So many have been murdered and so many are still missing. We are here in our community around this issue to provide a healing space for all to gather together. We are called to honor every life. These Indigenous siblings are not statistics. They are family members, sisters, daughters, sons, wives, and loved ones of many people. They are our human siblings. We must not forget that every person has inherent worth and dignity, and that violence against Indigenous peoples is an affront to that dignity. It is important to know, as you use our history, when it comes to how we have advocated or not advocated for our Indigenous siblings. This is how we move forward together from learning from our past. In our Unitarian history, the American Unitarian Association, which was one of the predecessor denominations to the UUA, was part of the Native American boarding school, residential school, cultural imperialism movement that was spreading across the United States in the 1800s and continued into the 1900s. After the Civil War, the Union Army was deployed to take lands from the Native peoples living on the Great Plains and elsewhere. These Native peoples were herded onto reservations administered by government agencies. But in 1870, President of the U.S. Grant, did I say that right? Ulysses S. Grant, thank you, asked Protestant denominations to take over administration of the various Indian reservations. The American Unitarian Association accepted responsibility for the Northern Ute people. The denominations were supposed to civilize the Utes. Today we would call this cultural imperialism, the act of forcing the Utes to give up their culture and take on a new culture. The Unitarians did not have a positive effect on the Utes. At the 2009 General Assembly of the UUA in Salt Lake City, Reverend William Sinkford offered an apology from the UUA to the Ute people, which was accepted by Forrest Couch as an individual member of the Ute Nation, not on behalf of the nation. Another residential boarding school that was set up by the Unitarians existed in Montana, and they were in charge of assimilating the Crow peoples. There probably were more, but these are the ones that I know of in our Unitarian history. And it's good to keep learning that history. So some more positive actions that have been taken by the Unitarian Universalist Association in the more recent past. I've listed these here, and I also have a list of the history of actions taken for folks to take out in the foyer if you'd like as well. So I just wanted to bring some of this up, right, as we continue to work for justice with our Native siblings. So in 1970, our UUA denomination passed a business resolution on Indian rights that opposed the continued exploitation of Native Americans. It demanded an end to encroachment of their lands, water resources, and human rights by extractive industries, and insisted on adequate reparations for past and present injustices. I do not know the full extent of action taken by the UUA after this business resolution, but it would be something to investigate for sure. In 1975, you can see that another business resolution was passed at the UUA General Assembly that condemned the actions of violence taken by the US government on the Pine Ridge Reservation. And in 1976, the UUA General Assembly passed a general resolution that opposed the extradition of Dennis Banks, one of the co-founders of the American Indian Movement, also known as AIM. The resolution called on the governors of California and Oregon to refuse the extradition of Dennis Banks to South Dakota. In 1993, the UUA General Assembly passed another general resolution for justice for Indigenous peoples. In 1997, an action of immediate witness was passed by the UUA General Assembly to join with the Apache in requesting the cessation of new telescope construction on Mount Graham, one of their sacred mountains in southern Arizona. In 1998, another action of immediate witness was passed for fair treatment of Native Americans that urged the US government to begin a program of reconciliation and renewal with Native Americans. In 2000 and 2001, they also passed responsive resolutions on ending the racism and use of Native American symbols, mascots, and names in sports. In 2007, there was a responsive resolution passed at GA that called for truth, repair, and reconciliation that encouraged the UUA and congregations to research their own and the association's history to uncover links and complicity with genocide of Native peoples. And in 2009, like I mentioned previously, during the Salt Lake City General Assembly, an apology was given on behalf of the UUA to the Ute people. Then in 2012, which some of you remember and may have been at the GA, the GA repudiated the doctrine of discovery as a relic of colonialism, feudalism, and religious, cultural, and racial biases. And then in 2018, there was an action of immediate witness passed at the General Assembly to be in solidarity with the Indigenous water protectors at Standing Rock. And many of our UU ministers and members went to Standing Rock. And then in 2020, the General Assembly addressed the 400 years of white supremacist colonialism, starting with the Thanksgiving myth and the arrival of the Pilgrims. One resolution or action that I see missing here is calling on the UUA and our congregations to work in solidarity with Indigenous communities on the MMIWGP issue. So every year, our church communities can propose new actions of immediate witness and or justice statements for the General Assembly to vote on. And maybe this is something we as a community here could work on bringing to a future General Assembly. So yeah, where do we go from here, right? And what can we do as a community to help heal and end these injustices of missing and murdered Indigenous siblings? And this is just a list that Mimi and I came up with. We can raise awareness, talk about MMIWGP, and educate ourselves on the issue. You can wear red tomorrow, which is the National Day of Awareness. And there's also ribbons on the table in the foyer that you can take if you don't have a red shirt or something, and you can put it on you, even if you have a red shirt, so that people, when you're at work, when you're at school, you can tell them what today is and why you are wearing that ribbon. You can give money to the Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women, which we are doing this month for our offering, and other Indigenous-led organizations. And I know Laura Iliff-Cruz works for the School for Advanced Research in Santa Fe, and the School for Advanced Research advances Native arts and is home to the Indian Arts Research Center. And again, it's where Laura Iliff-Cruz works. They have lost over $1 million due to the federal administration cuts. So talk to Laura after the service about how you can donate and help to the School for Advanced Research. We can also be in solidarity with Indigenous-led organizations and initiatives, especially those that look out for the most vulnerable when it comes to environmental stewardship. And Tewa Women United is a good organization to sign up with for emails of action and events that we can engage with. And we're also starting, and this just came up in our collaboration for this service, an Indigenous Connections Circle here at the church for those who identify as Indigenous and those who are allies. Mimi is going to help us get this group going so that we as a UU community can do more solidarity work on issues of justice, equity, and reconciliation with our Indigenous siblings. And we have a sign-up sheet in the foyer, so please put your name and email address if you are interested in being a part of this group. Again, this group could help write a land acknowledgement. Thank you, Patrick, for giving one today. This group could also pass a GA resolution to get passed on MMIW, so please sign up and be a part of this Connections Circle. Another thing we can do is acknowledge the Day of Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th, aka Orange Shirt Day, which is a day of remembrance and reconciliation specifically for the survivals of the residential schools. And we can pay attention when there is a turquoise alert in our state, which just got passed by our governor, which will alert us when an MMIWGP case has gone out. So please pay attention to those turquoise alerts that may come to your phone and help out when you can. So these things that I just mentioned are a start. And I'm glad we as UUs here in community can make a platform for important and hard issues like MMIWGP. It is important to come together for support and healing around justice issues that affect members and friends here in our community, for justice and equity, for resilience and hope. And thank you, Mimi, and to the rest of our Indigenous siblings who are up here leading today, and bringing this important issue to our congregation as we seek to continue our education, activism, and call for no more stolen sisters, no more stolen siblings.
Hello, I'm back. So earlier I was supposed to tell you about the turquoise alert, but it was on the opposite side of the page, so I completely forgot. On April 7th, 2025, New Mexico became the 4th U.S. state to initiate a specialized alert system focused on Indigenous people. We followed California, Washington, and Colorado, but we are the first to use cell phone alerts. Cases of missing Indigenous people currently and historically have experienced long delays in initiation of investigations. These programs to offer quicker responses to cases of missing Indigenous peoples is profound and could significantly increase happy resolutions of cases. Turquoise is considered a stone of protection and power of many of the Indigenous communities in New Mexico. The name of this initiative is a recognition of both the meaning of the stone and the resilience and strength of Indigenous people. You may have noticed that several of us are wearing red handprints over our mouths. This is a common symbol for MMIW. It can represent many things. It can represent the silence that we have had around these issues. It can represent the silence of Native peoples as they've struggled with these issues. It can represent, quite literally, what it looks like when someone is silenced. My mom became, among her community, a missing girl at 3 years old. They never knew what happened to her until she found her people when she was in her 40s. Her mother, who went missing at the same time while still in her teens, died in a hit-and-run accident. The case was not only never solved, it was not even investigated. Women are the life givers and the core of most Indigenous cultures. They have been the targets of violence, murder, and abduction in this country for a few hundred years. This is no less than the continuing genocide which began over 400 years ago. Removing Indigenous women and girls effectively curtails the success and continuation of Indigenous cultures and communities. I, on more than one occasion, have nearly become a missing or murdered Indigenous woman. I have faced violence specifically because I am an Indigenous woman. The one time I made a police report, I was dismissed and told it was my fault. They literally said, "Well, it sounds like you were asking for it." I was a door-to-door salesperson, and I realized they're annoying, but it was a summer job. But the white man who pulled me into his house and tried to lock me in, that's the case I reported. And the only reason I escaped and am here for you to see today is because I fooled the man and managed to get out a door while he was off in another part of his house looking for me. The police, however, simply did not care. There is no way to solve this problem until everyone, not just Indigenous people, make a point of being aware of the issue and keeping it in the forefront of public awareness and support. I'd like to go ahead and invite the other singers up on to grab their drums and stuff. We are going to sing this Women's Warrior song, which was written by my auntie, Martina Pierre, and it is a song that represents not just my community, but has been spread through Indigenous communities throughout the nation, in Canada, throughout Canada, and even in some places overseas where Indigenous people are also marginalized. So thank you for coming up, and hopefully my oxygen tube reaches to where it needs to go.
Thank you all for that Women's Warrior song. Thank you so much. Now let us stand again for our closing song, There Is More Love Somewhere. And as we go out from this place and extinguish our chalice, let us fully proclaim that we are imagining a world with no more stolen sisters and no more stolen siblings. May it be so. Please let us join hands now for our closing song, The Way. All right, get food and come back for our annual meeting.